The sign God scheduled on his calendar. The blood moon on Purim, March 3, 2026. I need you to stop and understand what just happened. God uses his calendar to send messages to history. And right now, in February, March 2026, he has stacked the most remarkable sequence of celestial signs in a generation. Let me show you what he did. SIGNS in the HEAVENS, February 28, 2026, 6 PLANETS align today. Confirmed by NASA and European Space Agency. On this exact date, February 28, 2026. The day this teaching is being written, 6 planets are aligned in the evening sky visible to the naked eye. Mercury, Venus, Saturn, Neptune, Uranus, and Jupiter, stretched in a diagonal arc from the western horizon toward the moon. Jupiter, Saturn, Venus, and Mercury are visible with the naked eye. This happened today, as the Iran talks failed yesterday. As the U.S. carrier strike groups sit in the Persian Gulf, 6 planets aligned. God's billboard did not go dark. SIGNS in the HEAVENS, March 3, 2026, blood moon on Purim. Confirmed. A total lunar eclipse, a blood moon, will be visible for 58 minutes of totality across the Americas, Asia, and Australia on March 3, 2026. This is also the Jewish festival of Purim. This is not a coincidence. This is the 3rd blood moon in less than 2 years. It falls directly on the feast that celebrates God's reversal of Persia's plot to destroy Israel. SIGNS in the HEAVENS, August 12, 2026, total solar eclipse over Europe and the Middle East. Confirmed, called by Spacecom the eclipse of the century, over 6 minutes of total darkness. The shadow path crosses over Europe, Iceland, Portugal, and northern Spain. This is the longest total solar eclipse in the 21st century. It begins a 3-eclipse series, August 2026, August 2027, July 2028, Jesus said. And there shall be signs in the sun and in the moon and in the stars. Luke 21:25. Purim 2026. Goddess perfect timing. Let me tell you what Purim is. Because this is the sign that will make you shout. Purim is the feast recorded in the book of Esther. The villain of the story is Haman, the prime minister of Persia, who plots the genocide of every Jewish person in the Persian Empire. Every last one, the king signs the death decree. The date is set by casting lots. Purim means lots, the casting of dice to pick the date of Israel's execution. The machinery of the most powerful empire on earth is mobilized against the Jewish people. And then God reverses everything. Esther goes to the king, Haman's plot is exposed. Haman is hanged on the very gallows he built for Mordecai. The king signs a new decree. The Jews are permitted to defend themselves. And on the very day Haman chose for Israel's destruction, Israel survived, and their enemies were defeated. And in 2026, while modern Persia, Iran is actively threatening Israel with ballistic missiles and nuclear weapons and is rallying the entire axis of resistance against the Jewish state, God scheduled a blood moon on Purim. Do you understand what God just did? He took the feast that celebrates Persia's failure to destroy Israel and put a blood moon on it. He put a signal in the sky, visible to the entire world, on the exact day his calendar commemorates. I stopped Persia before and I am stopping Persia again. That is not a coincidence. That is YHWH announcing himself to the nations through the very sign system he designed in Genesis 1:14. And God said, "Let there be lights in the firmament of the heaven to divide the day from the night. And let them be for signs, and for seasons, and for days, and for years." Signs. The Hebrew word is OTOT, signals, appointed markers, divine communications through the heavenly bodies. God built the sky as his communication system. He wrote Purim 2026 into the sky when he hung the stars. He always knew Persia would come against Israel again. And he always planned the sign. Isaac Newton, Observations upon the Prophecies of Daniel, Cambridge, c. 1706-1720. I have studied the prophecies relating to the nation of Israel with great care, and I am persuaded that they will be restored to their land in the latter days, and that the nations who have set themselves against that restoration shall be broken in pieces. The astronomical signs appointed by God to mark his calendar are not accidents of nature but appointments of his sovereign will, placed precisely in the heavens to signal what he is doing on the earth below. Isaac Newton, who many consider the greatest scientist in history, spent 30 years studying biblical prophecy with the same mathematical rigor he applied to physics. His unpublished prophetic manuscripts, discovered at Cambridge and King's College London and largely unpublished until the 20th century, show that Newton predicted Israel would be restored as a nation. This was written 200 years before 1948, and that astronomical signs would accompany the end-time events. He was right. He also predicted that Daniel's 70-week prophecy pointed to the modern era. Newton was not a mystic, he was a mathematician, and he said the numbers pointed to our time. Joel 2:3. Goddess word about blood moons and the nations, Joel 2:28-31, and it shall come to pass afterward, that I will pour out my spirit upon all flesh. And your sons and your daughters shall prophesy, your old men shall dream dreams, your young men shall see visions. And also upon the servants and upon the handmaids in those days will I pour out my spirit. And I will show wonders in the heavens and in the earth, blood and fire and pillars of smoke. The sun shall be turned into darkness and the moon into blood before the great and terrible day of the Lord come. Joel 3:2. I will also gather all nations and will bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat and will plead with them there for my people and for my heritage Israel, whom they have scattered among the nations and parted my land. Joel 3:12-14. Let the heathen be wakened and come up to the valley of Jehoshaphat. For there will I sit to judge all the heathen round about. Put ye in the sickle, for the harvest is ripe, come, get you down. For the press is full, the fats overflow, for their wickedness is great. Multitudes, multitudes in the valley of decision. For the day of the Lord is near in the valley of decision. Peter quoted Joel 2 on the day of Pentecost, Acts 2:17-21. He said it was beginning to be fulfilled. But the full fulfillment, the blood moons, the fire, the smoke, the sun darkened, has been accumulating across every generation since then and is accelerating now. 3 blood moons in 2 years, fire and smoke rising from Tehran and Natanz. The nations are gathering, the valley of decision is filling up. Book of Enoch 1 Enoch 84-7 Ethiopian Canon 81 books, also found extensively in Dead Sea Scrolls Cave 4 Qumran. And in the days of the sinners the years shall be shortened, and their seed shall be tardy on their land and fields. And all things on the earth shall alter, and shall not appear in their time. And the moon shall alter her order, and not appear at her time. And in those days the sun shall be seen, and he shall journey in the evening on the extremity of the great chariot in the west, and shall shine more brightly than accords with the order of light. And many chiefs of the stars shall transgress the order prescribed. And these shall alter their orbits and tasks, and not appear at the seasons prescribed to them. The Book of Enoch, quoted directly in the New Testament by Jude 1:14, preserved in the Ethiopian Orthodox 81 book canon, found in multiple copies at Qumran, 7 copies found in Cave 4 alone, describes celestial alterations as signs of the end times. The Ethiopian Church has read this text as canonical scripture for 2,000 years. The celestial anomalies of 2025-2026 are 3 blood moons, an annular eclipse, a total solar eclipse, and a 6-planet alignment occurring simultaneously with the Iran-Israel conflict are the kind of event Enoch 80 described. What changed in June 2025 that nobody is fully explaining? The June 2025 12-day war was not a war in the conventional sense. It was a demonstration of generational technology superiority. And understanding it prophetically requires understanding what was deployed. Israel's weapons. The most advanced combat AI in military history. Comment, pass this on now, more coming.